Hello, Tim O'Kelly here, and I wanted to spend just a couple of minutes with you talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is children. Specifically in this video, what I want to do is I want to take on, I think, the most important part of a child's life, and that is their self-esteem. So self-esteem in a child. That's what I want to take on here. But before I do that, I just want to spend a couple minutes with you, for this is our first experience together of giving you a little backstory on me. Came out to California in the late 80s and was asked to take a personal development course. I'd never taken one before. I went in on one weekend and was one of the biggest weekends of my life. I made some new decisions. I got urgent about things. I got clarity on things. One of them was I was going to do this work for the rest of my life. I was going to learn as much as I could about this work. Personal development, developing who we are. And over traveling for all these years and being on so many stages all over, 100,000 of people, I really do. I'm a firm believer that every human being has a dream. Every human being has, maybe they don't like to use that word, and that's okay, a better way of life in mind, a goal, something more that they want. I believe every one of us have that. And then I also know this, that every person has been given challenges in their life. Conflict. And the reason is for us to overcome them to develop, right? To mature, to grow, which is really what I think we're all here to do. And so I am working on how can a person have a dream and then navigate that overcoming of challenges a lot easier than maybe ever before in their life. And that's what all I'm about right now in my life, is how to overcome those challenges. Not to not have challenges, but to have challenges, overcome them, mature, to grow, to develop. That's a great life right there. And so this topic, what I'm taking on right here, is a huge one, and that is self-esteem with children. And so if you're still listening to this right now, after me bringing up that topic, I do want to acknowledge you. I don't know if you have children. Maybe you have them, or maybe you're going to. But even by you staying and watching this, I just want to acknowledge you for having an interest in whatever we can do to have our children or children around us have a high self-esteem. And so the first thing that I want to tackle here is just the importance of self-esteem in a child. And not necessarily the how-to right now, but just understanding how critical self-esteem is in anyone's life. And to understand that our self-esteem, okay, esteem comes from estimate, right? Self-estimate. A belief about myself, an image about myself. That's their whole future. That's their whole life right there. And it's created when they're very young. Now, you can do a lot of research, you can do a lot of studies on this, and you're going to find that most people believe in this field, in the medical field and psychology, that a child develops their self-esteem between the ages of 0 and 6 years old. Meaning their self-estimate is created by 6 years old. That estimate is their future, unless they come to personal development like I did in my late 20s and start working on my self-estimate. Never even knew I had a self-estimate. So if you understand the importance of a child's belief about themselves and it's your child, you've got a lot of the battle won already. What I mean by that is when your child comes home in the day and you really do understand that during these young years, how important that is, you're going to automatically be a better human being right there. I do believe that. If you understand how important it is, if you see in this world the effects of low self-esteem in a child, if you had the research, if you had all the numbers in front of you, it would be devastating of what happens to a child that has low self-esteem. And so understanding that when they come home, how important it is for us to be with them during those ages are so critical. So just know it's their future. It's their relationships. It's who they're going to attract. It's how much wealth they're going to attract. It's how much wealth they're going to push away. It's how lazy they're going to be. It's how strong they're going to be, how motivated they're going to be, how tired they're going to be, who resistant or rebellious, whatever. It all goes down to their belief about themselves. So now that we've got that just in context, then let's look at, just for this video, 2 things that we can do. There's more things that we can do, but these are the top 2 things that we can do in these YouTube videos. We don't have a lot of time to cover a lot more, but I'll put more out there, okay? So if you want your child to have high self-esteem, that's not arrogance. Please hear that. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about a really good, strong, honest belief. Not that I'm better than people, I'm better than everybody. No, just a strong belief in themselves, a respect for themselves, a good opinion of themselves. That's what I'm talking about by high self-esteem, okay? So if you want your child to have high self-esteem, here's one of the things we got to do. This is a part you might not like. Ready for it? If you want your child to have high self-esteem, guess what? You must have high self-esteem as a parent. And I know that's a part we might not like, but that's so true. Children don't learn from the words that we say. Children do not learn and form by the words that are said. It's not, right? So, in other words, if you have low self-esteem, which I have had a majority of my life until I started doing work. Okay, 28 years old, I came in with a very low self-esteem, but I did a great job of faking it. Okay, so if I want my child to have high self-esteem, I've got to have high self-esteem. I got to have that energy around my home. I got to have that energy around my conversation. I got to have that energy around my viewpoint of the world, because they're grabbing hold of everything when they're very, very young. My viewpoint of the world, my viewpoint of people, my viewpoint of myself, that's what's going to dictate their self-esteem. So one of my mentors who just passed away not long ago, Dr. Wayne Dyer, wrote a book on this. What do you really want for your children? And I mean, if you're about children, I would really strongly recommend getting that book. What do you really want for your children? It's a great book by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And for example, one of the chapters he has in there is if you want your child to respect themselves, and he talks about respect. If you want your child to respect themselves, you better never, I'm going to say it exactly the way he said it in the book, never, 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 never allow yourself to be disrespected in this world as a parent. I remember reading that going, I thought I was going to learn something about what my kid can do. I read that and, whoa, I had to put the book down. If I want my child to have high self-respect, I better never let myself be disrespected. I'm not talking about in front of him, in front of her. No, as a human being, not allow anybody to disrespect me. I'm like, whoa, I've got work to do, right? That's what they're going to feel. That's what they're going to sense. So, number 1, do some work on yourself. You know, and I think that's a great motivator to our children. Do some work on yourself. Work on your self-esteem, your beliefs. Get yourself in a course. Get yourself in a 3-4 day course once a year, twice a year. And really do some work on your self-esteem, your beliefs about yourself, okay? So that's number 1. Okay, second one is, this does pertain more to them, okay? Do you want your child to feel important, which is self-esteem? Say yes, please. Do you want your child to feel important? Then how can you do that? How can you help a child feel important? And you know what the greatest thing that you can do is? Listen. Not talk. To listen. To listen to your children. That when that little one comes in the room and wants to say something, that is a human being. It's not just a pain in the ass child that always wants to talk and always wants to ask questions, and I got a lot of things to do. It's a human being who you created. Look at that for a second. That when that child comes in the room, you see, even you watching this, it's going to be different. I promise you it'll be different. That when they come in and they want to say something, have it be important. Have what they're saying be important. Now, I understand there's times, last night I had a meeting. My son really wanted to talk to me, and I had to sit down and tell him, this meeting is very important to me right now. I don't have a lot of them. And you know what? You're very important to me too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover both of you. So right now I'm being with you, and then I'm going to go have this meeting in my living room, and then I'm going to be with you because you are important. So instead of just discounting them and they're always doing this, they always want to talk, they're a human being. Listen to them. Take the time that if you are going to be around your children, take time to listen. Take time to really hear what they're saying versus, I already know that. They have something in school that they learned. You already know that. But for them to come home and tell you about this dinosaur that you already know about, you don't need to go, I already know about that. Or to even have that energy to really listen. What is that child saying? What does that child want right now? Even driving to school today, okay? Daddy, why do we drive really fast on the freeway? Okay? I've got my mind on this video, to be real honest with you. I've got my mind on this video. But when he asked me that question, I had to stop and go, that's a great question. So I had to explain to him how a freeway works. And as I'm explaining, I'm like, that's pretty cool. I never even thought about that before. Travel further distance, much faster, right? And I told him, I said, we're going to get on a plane on Thursday to travel even. So I'm engaged in this wonderful conversation now because he simply asked me a question where I think, I know a long time before that, I would have gone, you know what? I'm too busy to think about that. So let me just wrap up here real quick. Two things. One, always look at your self-esteem. Are you consistently working on your self-esteem? Believing in yourself at a higher, not being arrogant, but believing higher good about yourself, about people, about the world. That's one. If you want your child to have high self-esteem, you got to have high self-esteem. Second one is, if you want your child to be important and feel important, have them be important. Meaning what comes out of their mouth is important to you. Even though it's a topic you really don't even want to, it's important. Have them know that what they're saying is important. Be with them. Be connected to them. Listen to them. Two best things you can do. Thank you.